filtering into the nose, and that he is then losing that liquid. This was an diagnosis done by one doctor where he went to, and he says, of course he's Crohn's patient, if this has something to do, if we heard about that, what is it exactly?
The loss of cerebrospinal fluid from
Yes.
the nose.
They call it cephalorachidium fistula.
Yes, it's very, first of all, it's very uncommon. It usually occurs when it occurs after an injury to the head, but obviously this has not apparently happened to this person. You know, I can imagine ways in which a M.A.P infection at the top of the nose could tunnel its way through, but I'm only speculating. I know of no information which, you know, would support the fact that it's caused by M.A.P.
But I don't know if the term is exactly the same as here, but there was a time people were considering a relation between Crohn's and sinusitis. Sinusitis is infection of the hole here. We have here.
Yes,
I'm saying you're right?
I've not heard it described, but I do know this, that it's almost certain that M.A.P infections can be acquired not just by ingestion, what you mentioned earlier, but also by inhalation. It may be the case that in some areas people are exposed and acquire M.A.P infections from aerosols, such as, for example, contaminated waters. Now, people with Crohn's disease are known to have detectable inflammation of the lung. The figure is about a quarter of people. And Crohn's disease in children is often associated with inflammatory disease of the respiratory tract. So it's possible also in some people it could cause a very low-grade chronic sinusitis.
So the farmers are exposed.
The farmers are certainly exposed. Farmers who handle animals are yes, but in them, because the organism is in a different form, it may induce protection. Having said that, there are farmers and veterinarians who come down with Crohn's disease who are infected with M.A.P. So it doesn't always protect, it can also cause it.
Then there is another thing which they consider I would say, very logical. The people, they say that we need to detect the M.A.P in the small cows, in the calves, in the second year of their life. Is that true?
M.A.P infection in animals needs to be diagnosed as early as possible.
Yes.
This is not because killing all infected animals will make the problem go away.
Yeah.
It will not. Diagnosing M.A.P infection and culling infected animals will not cure the M.A.P problem and is not on the list of practical proposals.
Yeah.
However, we do need to know, we do need much better diagnostics for M.A.P infection at animals so we can see at what stage they acquire the infection. It is probably the case that they acquire it very young. And what we need to do about M.A.P infection in animals is improve our diagnostics, and also we need to do sensible things with animals who develop actual clinical disease as opposed to subclinical infection. Animals which are shown to be what's called heavy shedders should be taken out of herds, and animals with clinical disease should certainly be taken out of herds. They're a very small proportion of the herds, and when they're taken out they should not go to abattoirs used to produce meat and food. They should go to a separate place to be killed. otherwise there will be widespread contamination of the abattoirs, and they should not go for human food consumption.
The point is that in Spain, they say we cannot discover any MAP in calves with less than 2 years, and consequently, as we are eating calves already in the second year, we are not realizing that we are eating infected animals because there is nothing done on that. That's one point. And the second point is they compare it with the developing of CROHNs in just born children. They say a child could never have MAP or CROHNs before his second year, because they are 100% relating it to the second year of the calves. So there must be a time discovery on first place. On second place, me personally, I will tell you my personal belief is another one. I think that if we are talking about this, we are talking in a certain sense also about heritage. And if this is the case, I'm of the opinion we are not only probably candidates of having received from our parents the disposition to have weaker cells and to be attacked and so on, but I think that the infection itself can also be transmitted from mother to child or from cow to calf via the blood circulation.
The studies in Spain which have not identified MAP in animals less than 2 years are almost certainly that the tests are failing to demonstrate the organisms. It is an established scientific fact in cattle, for example, and in sheep and goats, that the organism can cross the placenta and be transferred from dam to calf. So the calves can actually be born already infected with the organisms. Now we don't know in humans whether the organisms can be transmitted through the placenta. The humans have a different type of MAP disease compared to most, but not all, animals, in that the number of organisms causing Crohn's disease in humans is much less than the numbers of organisms causing Johne's disease in animals. However, there is research, preliminary research, which shows that MAP has been identified in the breast milk of mothers with Crohn's disease. Furthermore, when children, of course, are weaned and put onto milk powders and milk substitutes, MAP has also been identified in some preparations of these. And to conceive that young children, say before the age of 3 years or even 2 years of age, would not have been exposed to MAP is quite wrong. They almost certainly will have been exposed.
Is in our Crohn's disease, is there some reason why there is more activity in the intestines in the early hours? And I am relating it a bit with the upcoming sun, but it's just the time. We have more activity in our gut, in our intestines, in the early morning. Why is that?